Good morning, Lackamas Leopards. Mrs. Mueller here with our week right before spring break. Boys and girls, I first want to congratulate our Science Olympiad team. Congratulations, Science Olympiad. They had their competition this Saturday and they took second place in What's the Matter, Science About Matter, and first place in Teetering Towers. Congratulations, team. Give them a huge round of applause. This is our Science Olympiad team right there, led by their advisor, Mrs. Kohler. And we want to say congratulations and thank you for representing Lackamas in such an exceptional way and taking away both a first and a second. Great job. Now, this week, I want us to keep practicing and thinking about how we're like a leopard when we're at recess. So I want your class to think of some scenarios. Where are some places that maybe you might be struggling? Maybe it's in Foursquare. Take time to review. Mr. Afenigus went over, and he'll do it again after spring break, our rules for Foursquare. There are ways that we problem solve conflict. There are ways that we make sure that we're all rotating through. Review, maybe it's during basketball. And if there's a lot of conflict at basketball, switch it to a game of horse or pig. Maybe it's in soccer, that there's way too many kids. Mr. Afenigus, after spring break, is going to review our gameplay, how we have our lines and how we keep rotating in to limit the number of kids on the soccer field. Boys and girls, your recess is a great time for you to practice how we get along with others. When you have a disagreement and you think it's this way or this way, maybe we rock, paper, scissors it. When you have a conflict, how do you make sure that you express yourself appropriately? Maybe you have to walk away for a moment. Our expectations is that we're respectful, responsible, safe, and kind while we are out on the playground. But we also know there's going to be times when we don't have agreements. There will be times when people get frustrated or even angry. And so what do you do to make sure that you are still respectful, responsible, safe, and kind? I want you to talk about some of those tricky places that your class is having and how your class will help to problem solve and be like a leopard in these places. Second, here's a couple scenarios that were shared with me. At the end of the recess, when the whistle blows, two things were noticed. One student was noticed going out, picking up balls, collecting them, and walking them and putting them in the basket. A second scenario was noticed where one student picked up a ball and kicked it further out. Which scenario was like a leopard? Our equipment only lasts as long as we take care of it. And so making sure that you are respectful with our equipment is another way to be like a leopard on the playground. So when that whistle blows, we blow that whistle so we have enough time to clean up, line up, and start to transition back to our learning environment. It's up to everyone to make sure you do your part and clean up our equipment, take care of it, and put it back away. Here's another scenario. Hula hoops. One was noticed hula hooping. Under the covered area, they were seeing how they could hula hoop around their waist, around their arm, even around their neck. Second scenario, hula hoops, catching kids, pulling them. Which cares for our equipment? Jump ropes. One scenario, students were jump roping, practicing those skills that you learned in PE. A second scenario, kids were swinging their jump ropes. They were capturing kids. How do we use our equipment out on the playground? Hula hoops are for hula hooping, not capturing kids. Jump ropes are for jump roping, not swinging or wrapping around someone. Boys and girls, this week and when we come back for our Top Spot training, we are going to review what it is to be like a leopard with our playground, how we play, how we care for our equipment, and how we show respect to our supervision paras. Now, here at Lacamas, we're learning. Playground is a harder time because you're in control. You get to decide some things. You get more free time. And so it's up to you to make sure you're being respectful, responsible, safe, and kind. There are times when our recess teachers, they will stop you. They will have you come up to them and wait. You're going to have a reteaching. You're going to have a review so that they're sure you're going to be able to go back out and be like a leopard. There are times where you might get a time out, and then you will be separated and set out on the wall, and you'll have some quiet reflection time. What's it going to look like different for you? Maybe this is time for you to calm yourself down. There will be times where you will be told, this isn't going to be where you're playing now. You need to make a different choice. And there are times where we have a pause for practice, and that message goes home with families. And then that's more teaching again, and sometimes a consequence that happens. And then there are times when there are referrals. Those are those times where you were not following what was expected. You've had a reteaching, you've had a review, and now I need to help you. Boys and girls, all of this is part of our learning. And we want all of us to have a great time when we're out on the playground. But it requires a lot for you to have some moments to pause, to think and pre-plan, what am I going to play today and how will I play that? And then when you're frustrated, what do you do? Boys and girls, we want to be like a leopard. So this week, let's take some class time to review, to think through some of those struggling points that we might have out on the playground, discuss as a class so it helps set you up for success when you get to go out. And when you think of those scenarios, which will you be like? The student who goes and helps gather our equipment, get it put away right? Or the student who kicks the ball further? What about with our equipment? How do we play with a hula hoop or a jump rope? Let's be like a leopard and make this a great week. And then after spring break, we'll review again for our Top Spot training. Lacamas Leopards, remember, we're respectful, responsible, safe, and kind.